The pain of losing a child isn't something you can explain. It's not something you will ever get over. We thought we knew enough to keep our kids safe. After we lost our son Colin, we realized just how little we knew. My name is Mary Kay, and this is my Hidden in Plain Sight story. Colin was such a good kid. He had never been in trouble. He was a good student, he had a job, he helped at home, and he would do pretty much anything for absolutely anybody. The first time we were concerned was when we found weed in his room. We talked with him about it. He said, "It's no big deal, Mom. It's going to be legal soon anyway. Everybody does it." We had many conversations about it, but his view was just different than mine. I was afraid it would lead him to more dangerous drugs. He would say, "It helps me relax. It helps me focus. You're overreacting, Mom." But what we saw was the opposite. The year we found out he was smoking pot was the first year he got a D in school. I saw him starting to lose interest in things he had liked doing before. I was worried, and I talked to a lot of people. They all knew Colin and thought we had nothing to worry about. I started doubting myself. Maybe Colin is right. Maybe I am overreacting. In hindsight, I wasn't. At one point, we found out Colin was taking my mom's prescription pain medication. My dad, my sister, and I were tracking her meds very closely because we were concerned my mom was addicted to them. We allowed our older kids to help monitor those pills. One day, I asked Colin if he forgot to write a dose down because some were missing. He reached in and pulled some out of his pocket. My heart absolutely sank. I said, "Colin, what are you doing?" "It's not what you think, Mom." He always had a plausible response. He told me about his friend who was trying to get clean, but needed a few to take the edge off. I told him that's not how you help a friend. I wanted the friend's number and his mom's number. Again, Colin never skipped a beat. "I'll talk to him, Mom." A few days later, he even came back to me and told me he had talked to him. And his friend told his mom, and he was getting help. I believed him. No more pills were ever missing from my mom's, and I was proud that he had helped a friend. A while later, we found powder on his desk. When I asked him about it, he again didn't miss a beat. He said it was old and that he had crushed up one of the pills he had taken from Gamma and wanted to try what he was giving to his friend. He said he snorted it and he hated it. He hated the feeling and he never did it again. It was too much. I took him to our family doctor that afternoon. She knew Colin. She told me that unfortunately, kids do experiment. But Colin seemed to know the dangers and thought we should just watch it closely. Still, we encouraged him to go to an outpatient program. That ended up being a double-edged sword. At the time, I was surprised he wanted to go. But what we learned later is that through that group, he made connections with other addicts and learned about new drugs. We found a package of K2 in his room. We didn't know what to do. We even took the door off his bedroom so we could monitor closer. He completed the program, but I still don't think he recognized the dangers and thought he was in complete control of his drug use. The thing is, with drugs, you never are. He had enrolled in college, but he wasn't doing well. He was just going through the motions and didn't seem really interested. We assured him college isn't for everyone, and he decided to take a semester off. He worked, helped at home, hung out with friends, played video games, typical college-age kid stuff. March 28th was a typical Wednesday. Colin came home from work and offered to get his younger brother from Boy Scouts. Later, he offered to get a gallon of milk. I told him it could wait till morning, but he insisted he could go get it. Looking back on his text messages after he passed, he had been looking for pills all day, but couldn't find any. When he went out for milk, he picked up heroin too. Heroin is just an easier and cheaper substitute for pain pills. He came home, we talked, said our goodnights, He went upstairs and injected. An hour later, I found him unresponsive on the floor of the bathroom. He never came to. We will never know if it was his first time for heroin. We had no idea he was so deep into addiction. Signs of drug use are usually there. Slipping grades, a loss of interest in things they used to love, a lot of sleeping, head nodding. It's sometimes hard to know the signs versus typical teenage behavior, and it's easy to just brush them off. Plus, you know your kid. The kid before drugs took over, and you love them, so you believe them. I should have trusted my gut. My gut told me something wasn't right, even though Colin had a plausible explanation for everything. When people use drugs, the drugs take over. It is no longer the person you knew. In my head, I knew we did what we could, but my heart is harder to convince. If you think your child is using, have a concerned conversation with them. Though never easy, parents are the best connection to help kids struggling with addiction. As a parent, when you're scared and don't know what to do, you can come across as angry or upset with them. Get support through local resources who can coach you on things to say and resources available to help you and them.